Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sarah from Blue Ridge Literacy, and today we will be making an additional video to our Community Partners video series. Today, I'm so pleased to introduce you to Sheila Umberger from the Roanoke Public Libraries. Thank you so much, Sheila, for being with us today.
Hello, how are you today?
Wonderful, thank you. Can you tell everyone what your role is?
Well, I am Director of Libraries for the City of Roanoke. I have been the director for 15 years. I started out when I was very young as a young librarian. They hired me to convert a card catalog, which is the cards that people would use to find books, to computer code. So I was the computer whiz kid when I was 24 years old.
That's amazing. So you've seen the real growth of the library system, especially in the Roanoke Valley.
Yes, I saw the library right before they added the round part of the main library on. So where Blue Ridge Literacy is right now was actually the children's room at that point in time. So I saw the original, what was built in the 1950s before they renovated, which has been really helpful because we've done a lot of library renovations since I've been director.
That's amazing. It seems like nearly every season there's a new library that's being renovated, or, in addition to that, all of the new programs that the libraries offer.
Yeah, it's interesting how your life will go along, or opportunities that come to you, and how you learn something that later on you can apply. So like I say, I started as a cataloger in tech services, which is the department that's still right beside Blue Ridge Literacy, that does all the books, the behind the scene. I eventually became head of that department. And then they asked me to do something that led to what I'm talking about. So anytime, you're learning something, you can apply it later. Sometimes you don't know why at the time. But they asked me to be the head of the master plan study for the libraries. What that meant was in like around 2002, to do community meetings and figure out where we needed to build new buildings, what kind of services people wanted. And what came out of that was that all of our branches needed to be renovated. Most of them had been built in the 1960s. And the number one thing that people said they wanted were programs. So it has been quite a journey. We've done 10 building projects since 2007. And to give an idea, our program numbers have just gone off the charts. We do a lot of programs. And to give a perspective on use, we've been very excited because our circulation was 299,000 a year in 2004, and last year it was 1.1 million. So it's been a fun journey to be able to start like back in the day, and then to be able to see the library grow. So one of the things I'd love for your learners, everybody that's in Blue Ridge Literacy, to know is all the amenities that you have because of that work we've done.
Absolutely. That is so impressive to hear those astronomical numbers of circulation. One thing that I love to see is how the resource that is the library has evolved with, quote unquote, the changing times and the use of technology. And I think all of the programs that are being offered and the services are really staying with the times and keeping with the trend and the needs of the community. Mm-hmm. You mentioned there being several branches to the Roanoke libraries. How many locations are there?
Well, if you count, we have 2 E-branches. So if you count that, we have 9 locations. So the strength of Roanoke, in my mind, is our neighborhoods. So you can choose what type of neighborhood you like, or what kind of, like Raleigh Court's different from the Williamson Road area, whatever. We're pretty much in all of the neighborhoods. So our branches are Gainesboro, Melrose, Maine. Of course, Maine is the mothership, so to speak, in Elmwood Park, where Blue Ridge Literacy is. Raleigh Court. And of course, you can see they're mostly the names of Belmont, which is over in Southeast. Williamson Road has a branch, and also a lot of people don't realize it, but we actually have a law branch that's in the courthouse. It's open to the public. Our Valley View E-branch was our first one. We have an E-branch also in Garden City, and in the summer of 2020, we actually are installing an e-branch in South Roanoke that'll be a big box that'll hold 1,000 books. So if you're in that neighborhood, you can go up to it, put your card in, and get a book out, like a dispenser. So we're really excited. It'll be the first one in Virginia. So that'll be opening in early August of this year. So yeah,
That is amazing. I've only seen like pictures on the internet. So will it operate like a vending machine of sorts?
Yes,
That's incredible.
it's been an interesting project. And of course, my background with technology has been really helpful because it will actually basically talk to our computer system that we have now. So I guess if you go back to probably the biggest benefit that I think people should know that they have. So when they hired me to turn the card catalog into computer code, about 1984, they asked me and another person in the Department of Technology to we wrote a computer program for a uniform library card. And what I mean by that is one library card that would work in all the library systems in the Roanoke Valley. So Roanoke County, Salem, and then eventually in the late 90s, Botetourt County. We decided that if you lived in any of those areas that we should have one single library card. So what's your library card? It also gives you access to our 9 locations, but it's over 20 locations from Botetourt County, Salem, or county or city that you can use your card. And one of the brilliant ideas we had back then was that if you wanted to return a book anywhere, it didn't matter. We have a courier system. And so you can borrow a book from Maine, but if, say, you live in Salem, you can return the book to anywhere in the valley and it'll get back where it's supposed to be. So that's been super popular. And so that's grown from that. So when we put this e-branch in this summer, it's basically still connecting to all those records that I originally did at the beginning of my career, because we started all of this in 1988. So we've been having one card. A lot of people don't realize that because it's a unique thing. Prior to that, if you were in the city, you couldn't go to a county library or vice versa. But we've kind of made that easy for our customers. And so that's actually a super big benefit because that means you can use any of the libraries in the whole Roanoke Valley and Botetourt County.
Absolutely. Well, I think every one of our learners at Blue Ridge Literacy is familiar with the Maine Public Library and has visited with one of our classes. Now, nearly every neighborhood, every region of Roanoke has their own library resource. So a student could check a book out during class at the Maine Public Library, and if needed, return it to the Melrose Library. So no excuses for late books. So
that's right.
I have my library card right here. So if I'm new to the area, do I have to pay any money to get a library card or to participate in any of the programs?
No, all of our services are free. We do have some after hours rental of meeting rooms that we have available at some of our branches that have the ones that are most newly renovated, particularly Gainesboro, Raleigh Court, and Melrose. And we do rent the porch, quote unquote, after hours. Otherwise, during the day, you can schedule rooms and programs we never charge at all, or classes. And that's something too, that that a lot of people ask us about. So it's also perfectly fine to ever ask us anything you want. So as a librarian, we may not know all the answers, but we know who to ask. So that would be something I'd encourage everyone. We love to have people ask us questions. In fact, we've been known, if someone asks us a question, even if for some reason we can't find it, we'll keep looking. And we might even call a person back because we're very happy to answer questions. That's part of our professional ethic.
Absolutely. Every single librarian I've met, especially in the Roanoke Valley, is nice and welcoming, easy to talk to, especially with our learners who maybe their English is is new to them. They've been patient and kind, and they're great, great people. So even though the buildings of the libraries are closed right now, there are many online resources and digital resources that are available through the Roanoke Public Library System. Would you talk about one or two that you are particularly interested in?
Well, I would say we've always had some virtual presence, but I think I'll start with our YouTube channel. So we had, unfortunately, for a lot of us, we had to close services for safety on March 23rd. And so since that time, we've really ramped up what we call virtual programming. If folks are familiar with YouTube, we have created a YouTube channel. And within that, we have different levels of programs, but our most popular series within that is our story time. We are launching out story times every day at 10 o'clock. We also have what we call a virtual committee, and so we have created a virtual system where you can actually sign up for virtual classes. So last night we had Family Jeopardy. We have a D&D class for teens that's going on every single Tuesday night. So we plan to expand that, and even past when we reopen this summer, we plan to maintain that. So that's something that you can take advantage of. We have stuff like yoga classes for families, and a lot of really unique. You'll see a lot of the staff have really put their heart into. We've had stuff like a story time with goats, like baby goats. We've had visitors, like characters dressed up. We've done some collaborative stuff with the Taubman Museum and with Southwest Virginia Ballet. So we've had some really fun ones. So I would highly recommend you check that out. If you just subscribe to YouTube, you'll get alerts from us. But you can also just go in and to YouTube and search Roanoke Public Libraries, and you'll pull up our channel. We also have something that we've had for a while called Tumble Books, and that's been used extensively by the schools. There are a couple really, I think, interesting things about that. One is you can look at reading levels within that and actually pull up books that would match your reading level. So if you were trying through testing or something, if you were trying to help your child or yourself read at that level or even a little higher, you could actually choose books to read together as a family. It also is virtual, so they'll read stuff and it's interactive. And they also have like questions and stuff. So if you even wanted to do like a mini book club within your friends and your families, you could do so. The schools use that extensively with us. It's also a good resource for parents or anyone that wants to be reading with their family. And then I guess the virtual librarian, that's something we're just exploring. There's also some other resources on there. One is Libby, and that's access to our ebooks in our e-magazines or RB Digital. So I don't know, a lot of people don't realize that we have quite a few, like thousands of ebooks that they can check out to their phone or to their iPad or to their computer. And specifically ebooks, but e-audio, so you can actually listen to a book. Those are extremely popular. So those are other resources that we've actually had a very high increase in use on since we've unfortunately had to be closed. But we will be reopening soon.
That's good to hear. We can't wait. But in the meantime, we will definitely be exploring all of the online opportunities. I think it's amazing that you've boosted not only what you have been using, but continue to create more programs to engage the community. That's wonderful. Thank you for doing that.
A couple other programs that I might mention that would be of interest is we have continued to feed through Feeding America even while we're closed. They've been at 3 of our locations, Melrose Williamson Road and Belmont. They've been there feeding in our parking lots as themselves. But this summer we have contracts signed with Feeding America and with LEAP. So we'll be having a LEAP market at Maine this summer. But also we plan to continue to feed this summer, whether like either we just plan to give out food. So for example, if we do a curbside where people could walk up and get their books right before we reopen as a phase one, then we would actually distribute food to families at that point. So books and food for your children. So we just continue to believe and know that that's super important. So I would encourage that. We also plan to do our summer reading program virtually this summer. And what we mean by that is we'll be actually giving out, starting in July, craft kits, again, to families where you'll have the entire craft in like a bag, like a little baggie or something, and with information so you can do stuff as a family. And we'll be streaming stuff like programs and stuff as well. So, that's something that might be fun to do if you set it up and actually streamed it at the library or something like that if you wanted to. But we will continue to do the summer program because it's so important to prevent summer slide in our children. What I mean by that is if you aren't reading, so obviously everyone knows how important reading is, or literacy. If you're not reading in the summer with your children, they can actually go back to school being behind on their reading. So to prevent that summer slide, it's so important to continue these programs. And of course, feeding or eating properly is also one of the most important things for children. So a lot of people take advantage. We've served over 75,000 meals in the last 3 years to the community. So this is something that there's no charge for, and it's something that's great to take advantage of. And a lot of people take advantage of that for their children.
That's amazing. And that is the modern library, not just reading books as one might have thought of, but access to computers, social programs, healthy food and resources for food, activities and crafts. I mean, it's very holistic the way you look at the library as a part of the community. And I'm really looking forward to getting our learners access, if they don't already, showing them different ways to access all of the programs that you all are having. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us, Sheila. I know you have a very busy schedule, but I'm so pleased that you were able to join us and share a little bit about what you and the Roanoke Valley Libraries are doing.
Well, thank you. We're very excited to be in collaboration with Blue Ridge Literacy. And as you know, I enjoy being on the board of Blue Ridge Literacy. So you do wonderful work too. And we just welcome everyone to our services.
Thank you again.
Thank you.